Good morning. Good morning. What is it? It is the Ides of March like I thought. I'm posting this kind of in violation of what I advocate. I advocate that we read through the Bible and across the Bible because the Bible interprets itself. And I prefer that over drilling down and focusing on one particular aspect. But that changes our perspective quite a bit, and sometimes that's what we need. So, I guess I'm being a little bit of a hypocrite because we're going to focus just on one particular word. And I'm correcting myself because I didn't give you enough on Genesis 3. Genesis 3 verse 24 in particular. So he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims. It says an S on it in the proper name version. And a flaming sword which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life. Okay, we were evicted, and we actually did go east. And also, to the east side, he placed cherubims and a flaming sword. Now, I just listened to a video, the audio by Stan Deo, and I didn't listen to every bit of it, but almost all of it. But the peculiar point I wanted to make is he's saying that he found the Garden of Eden, but actually now it's not just him. Scientists are saying they've discovered the Garden of Eden in Africa. And I think that's important because of the claim that we originated out of Africa. And I think it's very important because it's very close to Mount Kilimanjaro. I think that's, Mount Kilimanjaro. And it's to the east of that, actually, from what I can tell. And it's also east of Lake Victoria. And the key thing to Stan in terms of discovering its location from the Bible is that he looked at the deep meanings of these words. And cherubim, or cherubims, it's not very well understood. And this is the first time it appears in the whole scriptures. And I looked up the word trying to show me volcano. That's what I wanted to know. Well, I didn't get that. But I got enough in there, and there was so much. I mean, there were subsections, so many definitions and subsections of the definitions that I realized that it's a confusing term it's not really translated very accurately. But the flaming sword, that's understood. Fire and flame. And I looked that up because I wanted to know, is this where it is? Because Stan says there are 40 volcanoes east of the garden. And those were your cherubim, so that we could never get back to that, to protect us from going back to it. So we have, again, a physical discovery. And one key feature of this place is it's so rich, it has 240 species of mammals in it, which is a really high number, a high amount. And it's a really interesting place. Well, I haven't done much research on this. To me, this is breaking news, as you would imagine, because I just did a brainstorm on Genesis 3, and I just covered this isn't the original sin in chapter 3, in my opinion, but that's what the big churches want to call it. Lorraine, come here. Come on. Quiet. Up. Up. It's okay. So I wanted to bring this to your attention that there's a lot more to be mined out of the data that we have here. And I don't think we're stretching it. I think we actually have it. We have found the Garden of Eden. It's in Africa. And it's wonderful that we have discovered it. Uh, I'm just flabbergasted that we finally found it. We have also found Joseph's house in Egypt, and a statue to him, and the tomb that was at the house. Yes, we excavated I think it was a rice paddy. We excavated a field they were growing crops on, dried it out, got down and excavated it, and then finally they took the photos, videos, and documented it. And Joseph was a real man, and he had a house there. And then we also found Mount Sinai, and it's not in the Sinai Peninsula. I don't know if I can turn to this right away, but this is one of the few things that I discovered and contributed a while back, so I kind of was proud of it. But it's in the Bible. It's like, oh, the Sinai Peninsula. Let's go looking all over the Sinai. It ain't in the Sinai. It ain't in the Sinai. It says right in here, like, I ain't a New Testament kind of guy. I'm really an Old Testament kind of guy. Okay, here we go. I gotta have this. Okay, I haven't been into this very much, but it's highlighted, dog-eared, and marked with pen and underlined, and notes in the margins is. But this is very interesting because Paul says he went into Arabia and returned again to Damascus after 3 years. All right, that's one mention of Arabia right there, but that's not the one I'm looking for. The one I'm looking for is a real straight ahead thing. Really straight ahead. Oh, Lord, I wish I had prepared more for this. I prefer to do a stream of consciousness rather than study up and try to present, because I think that's far more boring. But here we go. I want to find this. It's got to be in here because I found it before, and I know I marked the heck out of it. And I think this is important because it says it's in the Mount Sinai, which is in Arabia. It's not on the Sinai Peninsula. It's just across the division between the Arabian Peninsula and the Sinai Peninsula. So just a few miles from it, not very far at all. It's just barely into there. So, well, I thought it was in here, and I guess I'm going to have to use my. Thought it was in here. Oh, we're going to have to do this pretty soon. I'm going to keep this one kind of short. I just want to point out that this is the knowledge that just was given to me yesterday. It turns out that the scientists have known about it for a while, but they will not publish this because they don't want us to believe in the Bible and they don't want us to understand. Now, we also found Meribah, the waters of Meribah. We found that, and that's on the way to Mount Sinai as you're coming, as you've left the Sinai Peninsula, go into Arabia, so it's just inside as well. And we've got pictures of that, video of it, and it's an unusual structure. And it looks like it's been worn down by waters, which it was because of what Moses did at the waters of Meribah that he wasn't allowed into the promised land. I guess he struck the rock a little too hard or with the wrong spirit. And so that was messed up. So I will look for this another time, and I won't take your time up anymore here. But oh, one more thing. As far as physical locations, we found the tell of Sodom and Gomorrah, and those were excavated, and we know that as far as the hellfire and brimstone, Yahweh sent a couple of angels who took care of Lot and his family and then nuked Sodom. That's all there was to it. He used nukes there. So you need to understand that we found Sodom. It was the biggest tell in the area, and it lines right up with the descriptions from scriptures as far as where you can see it from, and the other landmarks. It is north of the Dead Sea. It's not in the Dead Sea. It's not south of the Dead Sea, but it's north of the Dead Sea. May Yahweh bless you.